I thank you, Chairman, and I'd also recognize that the full committee ranking member is here. This is the most important issue of this committee in the long run. We're a committee that on a day-to-day basis obviously deals with the events, the failures in government, and the need for reform short term. Today, like every other hearing that's about oversight, transparency, and getting it right, particularly in data reporting, we're dealing with what is ultimately going to be the fix. I came from a private sector where the idea that there would be data entry errors and that those data entry errors would be different than the actual payments was unheard of. If someone is typing in something for a report, rather than taking the actual data as it went out on a purchase order, an invoice, or some other disbursement, then by definition you're not giving people the honest results of what government did. You're giving them somebody's interpretation of the honest result. If they're completely accurate, then all you've wasted is a huge amount of human capital. If they're inaccurate, then you have data which is worthless. Today, I'm very proud that I have a panel of 4 here, both government and very responsible people within the watchdog community, to talk about transparency, to talk about reporting, and to continue with our process of getting it right in the future. I regret we have a second panel. We have a second panel for an inexplicable reason that OMB has told us that they will not sit with non-government entities, that they have a long-standing policy. I have been here only going on 11 years, but it is not that long a policy. I would hope that in the future we can have the responsible people who are in the data use business and the data transparency business as often as possible, when appropriate and vetted, with the government people who are charged with working to do that. Today's hearing is not the first, and it won't be the last in this process. Until every dollar from the time it leaves the taxpayer's account, or, and for that matter, the dollar deposited when you want to go into a Federal park, until the last dollar is spent and dispersed, either used to pay a Federal employee or dispersed through the system in the private sector, until that's accounted from womb to tomb, we will not have done our job. When we get to that point, then the job that we all want done, which is full accountability with virtually no loss, theft, or waste, will be possible. Today it is not possible. This hearing is important because the failures to get the data right is the reason that ultimately we're not getting the responsible government. And day after day, when we're told $100 billion, $200 billion, $300 billion would be saved if we simply stopped disbursements to people or to entities which do not deserve them. So until we get there, this committee will have no more important issue than the one we're here today. This is a subcommittee hearing, but you have both of the Chair and Ranking Member for the reason that the work you're doing is the most important work of the Congress. Thank you, and I yield back.